Hey guys, welcome to the part 2 of the retouching series where we are retouching this beautiful image of Katerina. In the part 1, I showed you guys how to remove stray hairs and clean up your background so everything looks really neat. And the part 2, what we're going to do is retouch the skin. Now, if you want to check out Katerina, she's an amazing model in Toronto. I'll put a link to her Instagram handle in the description below, so definitely check out. Okay, great. Now, before we also get into this video, I want to tell you guys about my retouch. Now, also, before we get into retouching this image, I want to tell you guys about my retouching assets, like my retouching essentials pack, my skin tone lots for dark skin tone, light skin tone, and also my natural skin tones, and a few other freebies that I have in my digital store. I'll put a link in the description below to my digital store. Definitely go check it out. And if you are looking to retouch better and retouch fast, faster, check out my assets. You guys will absolutely love it. I use this retouch. You guys will absolutely love it as I use it to retouch every single one of my images. So definitely check it out. Links are in the description below. Okay, great. So let's get into this video. The first thing I'm going to do is just create a stamp visible layer. So that's Command, Option, Shift, and E. And after creating that stamp visible layer, I'm going to run my median action. Now, this action is not available in my current retouching essentials pack, but it will be available in the version 2 that's coming out very soon. So definitely stay tuned for that. Okay, great. So my median, what I'm looking for is the lines on my subject's face, right? If I go too high, then the lines are obviously going to be, blurry, and I won't see those lines anymore. So I don't tend to go too high with my median. Also, you have to put in mind the megapixels of your camera and the sensor. This was shot with a medium format, so probably going to go just a little bit over 30, and maybe around 40 would be fine. Somewhere around here works because I can still see every single line and how everything is on her face. So now I'm just going to click OK, and I'll let the action do its thing, and it will also prompt me and ask me where do I want to pick my low layer from. What low layer do I want to use in case I'm creating multiple frequency separation actions. So right now it's this low color that's right here, and that's it right here. So I'm just going to click OK. And now we are done creating our median advanced frequency separation layers, right? So let's see before and after. Everything looks good. So what I'm going to do right now is pick up my clone stamp tool, make sure I'm on current layer, and take my flow all the way to 100, and just check this. My hardness is going to be on 0, and that's typically how I work with my clone stamp tool. So right now I'm just going to zoom in, and what I'm going to do right now is just start cleaning up the image, right? Now, with frequency separation, if you don't know anything about frequency separation, your high layer is where your textures are, as you can see, it's well detailed here, and your low layer is where your colors are, right? So it just separates your image into 2 frequencies, and then you can work on them independently, right? Okay, great. So what we're doing right now is just sampling and cleaning. So I typically sample from somewhere close to my subject's blemish. If I'm trying to get a blemish like this one right here, I'll hold Option, sample from here, and just clean up. And what we're trying to do is just make sure that we take out a lot of the blemishes that are on the face, things that would be distracting for you if you're looking at it. Now, I know, retouching tends to have a bad rep, but you have to understand that for the most part, when you're looking at people, you do not tend to see a lot of these things, but when you shoot with a camera that's about 100 megapixels, then you tend to see every single thing that is on the subject's face that you won't see, typically with your natural eyes. Okay, great. So right now, what I'm just going to do is just continue cleaning my subject's face. Just take out whatever blemish that I can see there. Also, the model did her makeup herself because we couldn't get a makeup artist as this photo shoot was on short notice. So you have to put that at the back of your mind, right? For this image that I'm retouching. Okay, great. I mean, she did a pretty decent job, but maybe a makeup artist would have just done something that just a tiny bit better, never can tell. Professional makeup artists, they tend to understand how to clean up the skin better, right? Example, like the lashes would have been a lot better than this with a professional makeup artist, but I'm not complaining. Absolutely love the pictures. I think she did an amazing job, right? Okay, great. So now we're just going to continue. So one place that I have to like really take into consideration is around here. So we'll have these hair right here that I have to take into consideration. I mean, I'm not going to take everything out, but anything that stands out, you know, I'll make sure that I get it so I can reduce how much of that we can see, right? Okay, so I'm just going to take these out. You guys can see using a pretty small brush to sort this out. I mean, like I said, I won't be able to take every single strand of hair out. You know, I can just do a decent job in reducing its appearance, right? Okay. So you guys can see I've done a pretty decent job here. Let's see before and after. So let's see before right here, and now after. You guys can see done a pretty decent job there. And then I'll come back to this side of the face. I don't think there's anything much here to do, so I'm just going to take some of these out. Oof, that's a mistake. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just complete everything, take out the remaining blemishes on her face, and I'll be right back to actually work on the color layer. Okay, so now we are done removing our blemishes. So what I'm just going to do is just zoom in and let you guys see that. So let me show you the before and after. Before and after. Before and after. As you guys can see, the face looks really nice and clean. So what we want to do right now is just work on the low layer of our image, right? This is where we have our skin tones. This is where we have our colors. This is where we, you know, blend everything in and make everything look really nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do is come to my actions panel, and from my retouching essentials pack, what I'm going to do is create an invert check layer. So I'll open my invert check layer, open my levels, let me just close that, and then I'm just going to drag this in. And what I can see right now is I'll say the imbalance or the imperfection in like the variation from shadows, midtones to highlights. As you can see a lot of that, you know, in all these places. Now typically what I'll do in this situation is use my micro dodge and burn, right? But in this particular situation, or typically what I do is use my micro dodge and burn, but in this situation what I'm going to do right now is use my mixer brush tool and work on my low layer. So what I'm going to do is just get a big brush, and then I'm going to start working on my low layer. Make sure you're using these settings up here and make sure that you do not have any color selected. So what I'm just going to do right now is just start blending in the I would say the variation between the highlights and the shadows, you know, like where we have, you know, connecting points. Basically just make sure everything looks nice and even and smooth, but at the same time, you know, what I'm not trying to do is just change the way the face looks. So you have to be careful not to mess that up, you know. So every once in a while you can do this, and what you can do is just stop, you know, turn off your invert check layer and see exactly what you're doing. Another way you can go about this is to turn off the high texture, and now you can only see the low texture, and even though it looks blurry, it's just easy for you to see just the colors and how you want to adjust your colors, and like where you want to move colors from, because this is not a non-destructive technique. I mean, like, the good part is that we have created quite a lot of layers, so if anything, we can always just go back and delete that layer and redo it, or we can go back and reduce the opacity of our layer if we feel like it's overdone. But like I said, it's not like a non-destructive technique. It's not as non-destructive as using micro dodge and burn, right? But for the most part, like, your clients won't be able to tell what the difference is. At the end of the day, they won't be able to tell what technique you used, and that's what's most important thing is, like, delivering high quality images to your clients. So now I'm just going to turn this on, and I'll show you the before and after. As you can see, we've done a pretty decent job. Just going to zoom out. And show you the before after. You can see, I kind of like pull this in, so I'm just going to take that back out, and you can see we've done a pretty decent job. The whole image still looks nice and natural. We don't have the image looking overly retouched, but at the same time, it looks really good. So what I'm going to do is just do the same for the body. I'm just going to run my mixer brush across the body. As you guys can see, I'm using a pretty big brush. I'm not using a small tiny brush. That tends to leave a lot of blotches and have your image not looking great. But using a pretty decent brush, like a big brush. And the amazing thing about this technique is it retains a lot more texture than when you use your just your Gaussian blur. That's the amazing part of using the medium that I've realized, right? Okay, great. Okay, so we have a pretty decent looking image right now at this point. Sometimes, if for some reason I don't want to go in too much with my mixer brush tool, what I typically do is just create like a new action, and then I'll create like a micro dodge and burn, and then I can come in here and look and see, okay, I can make some slight corrections if I want to do that here, and I'm just going to show you that quickly. So just pick a brush, white brush, soft white brush, make sure that my flow is on 1%, and I mean, I'm not saying you should do this all the time, but it's just like I'm just trying to show you what I might do sometimes. I might just come here, fix some of the highlights here, if for some reason I don't want to go in there with my mixer brush, or maybe somewhere around here, just fix some of the highlights here. If I don't want to do that with my mixer brush tool, maybe I just feel like I'm moving colors around too much, and I don't want to do that anymore. I can just come in here and just fix a few things with my micro dodge and burn. And don't know if that will make a huge difference for you guys to see, but you guys can see that highlight that's right here. I just fixed a little bit of that. That's just like, that's something that I don't know if you can see some right here at the top of the head, up here, top of the head. Don't know if you guys can see any differences there, but that's just one thing I do sometimes, but not all the time. Okay, for some reason I can do that right here. I can just come here and just use that to take out this line on the neck, and it does it effortlessly. So at this point we have our image looking really good, but at the same time it looks really natural. So this is where we started from, and this is where we're at right now. So look at our before and look at our after. Before, after, before, after, before, after. Okay, so now that we are done with our skin smoothing, the next thing I want to do is just fix a few things up. Like, I would like the lips to look a lot better, and after that I'm going to do a little bit of micro dodge and burn. This is something that I probably would have done typically before my frequency separation, so maybe I should just get in there now and fix it and show you guys typically how I would come back and sort this out, if for some reason like I didn't do this earlier. So I'll probably just pick a layer, and then I'll pick a clone stamp tool. So where's my clone stamp tool? That's it right here. Clone stamp tool and all layers. And then what I'll do is just reduce my flow, because I don't want my flow to be too high, right? And I'm just going to come in here and just sample and fix these areas right here, you know, like I just want everything to look nice and clean here. So I just sample and fix, and just run it through everything here like this, you know. Sample, fix this, sample, fix, sample, fix, sample, fix, and just have it looking nice and really clean, you know. If for some reason, you know, there are some mistakes inside, you can just go inside and fill these places up, you know, just go inside, fill these places up. Same thing with here, you know. You can see, you know, right here doesn't look really good, so I'm just going to, you know, fill this up too, you know. Then I can just come in here and get these out of the way. Same thing with this place, you know. Like for me, like the most important thing is just figuring out the way to work that, you know, you're not spending like a lot of time, you know, fixing things. You know, you don't want to spend too much time, you know, arranging stuff in post. You know, you don't want to be that person that's killing yourself in post. So let me show you what the before looks like. This is the before and this is the after. Before, after, as you guys can see, it looks a lot cleaner, right? It looks better, right? In a situation like this, I can use frequency separation again to clean, you know, like the space around the mouth, or I can just pick my micro dodge and burn tool, turn on my invert check layer, you know, just make sure that I am working, you know, and I'm seeing like around the lip. And now that I have my micro dodge and burn, what I'm going to do is just pick my soft brush, make sure that my flow is on 1%, and what I'm going to do is just work around these areas that I feel like, you know, have become too light, you know, like if for some reason, you know, and what I'm doing right now is just burning some of these areas, right? Just burning some of these areas. If I feel like, you know, I messed some things up, I can just burn some of these areas, just dodge and burn these areas, you know, just have it looking really good again. I mean, you know, I keep telling people you don't have to spend too much time on anything that you're doing, especially if you have other work as a photographer. But I mean, this is beauty, so I totally understand if you want to take your time with beauty work, because that's what you're meant to do. Okay, so let's just quickly see what our before and after looks like here. This is our before. You can see that white line that's here, that's like really showing the separation, and this is after. Right now it looks pretty decent, and you know, I can see this blotch here. I don't really like that, so just going to dodge that out of the way, you know, get that out of the way, and have that place looking a lot decent, you know. So let's see before and now after. You guys can see I've taken that away, and if we zoom out right now, I can see that this part of our lips looks a little bit bigger than this, but that's not a problem because that's something that I will fix with Liquify later. So let me show you guys the before and the after. You can see like the lip outline looks a lot better now. Just want to show you that real quick. So let me show you the before and after. I mean, different people have different techniques and different ways that they work on, like, you know, their subject's lips and all that, but for me, this is just like a very easy way to go around it and have it looking good. And later with Liquify, I can just fix the shape of the lip, and you know, we have a decent looking image. So I mean, we have our skin looking really good now. Just going to zoom in so you guys can see. What I'm going to do is put everything like here that I've done in a group, Command G, just put it in a group so you guys can see. And let me show you the before and after. Before, after, before, after. You can see we fixed up the skin and it looks really good. And before I go, I want to tell you a little bit about my skin tone lots, my retouching essentials pack, and also some freebies that I have in my digital store. Definitely check it out if you're looking to retouch better and retouch faster. You know, I have my 14 amazing actions for retouching, and I also have my skin tone lots that will help you get like amazing skin tones for dark skin, light skin tones, and also natural skin tones. So definitely check those out. Links will be in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to dodge and burn this image and also do some finishing touches to have it looking really, really good. See you guys in the next video.